So Paraguay has been pretty skillfully balancing major powers on the world stage. Tell us a little bit about what specific trade relationships, investments we can see from Paraguay and Taiwan.
Many of them, they're interested not only in the commodity part of the country, because we're a good provider of food, therefore contributing for food security in the world. But right now we want to a little bit diversify what is the economy or the composition of the production. And there we have something that is going to be key for the world, the possibility of producing green hydrogen, because we do have both enough water, because we are sitting basically in the middle of the water reservoir called the Guarani water reservoir, and we are one of the few countries actually that have excess supply of electricity. So we do have the two components that are going to be good in order to produce green hydrogen.
What's the concrete goal right now? Because we've talked about green hydrogen for major economies like Chile and Brazil, but when it comes to actually putting money and investments, it's a whole different issue. So what are you expecting for this year and next?
Because we're having already people there investing in that part. So we have some production of green hydrogen, but it's not only green hydrogen in the form of alternative mean to oil. No, the thing that we're thinking is something a little bit better suited to Paraguayan economy, that is producing green fertilizer. So that is a different product. You don't need a large amount of energy, but it's going to be good for the whole region, because the whole region is a big producer and also user of fertilizer. So we are going to produce green fertilizer in order to provide to the region.
What are your global partners in that relationship, in that green hydrogen project that you're seeing right now? Because what we are getting in the geopolitical sense of things is that Paraguay is very well positioned to get investments and concessions from the likes of Taiwan and even rival China. Are those involved at all?
It's not a question of China versus Taiwan. We are open to everyone over there. I mean, one thing is the economic relation, the other thing is the political relation that we can have with Taiwan. But if Chinese want to go there and invest, we are open to that.
Are you having conversations right now?
No, we are tied politically to Taiwan. But if you ask me economically, what about signing an agreement with China? We're open to that. As a matter of fact, if you look at the numbers, Paraguayan imports from China is the second one. Only the first one is Brazil, but the second one is already China. So we are open. We do business with China. But one thing is the economy, the other thing is the political. You ask me, where are we expecting investment to come? Mainly from Brazil. We were able to insert Paraguay economy into the production chain of Brazil through a system that probably you know here in the US, is the maquila system. So at this moment, the maquila factories in Paraguay produced around 10% of the whole export of Paraguay in a given year. So it's something that was very small, nothing, and right now it's 10% of all the export, the maquila. So Brazilians are interested in investing in Paraguay. Argentina, given the volatility of the economy, they are looking for investing in Paraguay. So Paraguay you can see as an island of stability, so it's attracting a lot of private investment from the region.
What about Paraguay as a source of friendshoring or nearshoring? We know that the US has been very keen to diversify its supply chains. Has there been an approach being made to Paraguay?
I think that the U.S. is right now into something called the friendshore. So Paraguay is open also for business. I believe that the U.S. could play a bigger role on economic investment in the whole region, not only in Paraguay. Otherwise, somebody else will take the place. I mean, if you look at the region, China right now is taking the place of the U.S. or Europe because they are actually investing over there. But we're open for every type of investment. If you want to actually position yourself politically and economically in the region, Paraguay is a good place to start.
When it comes to China, how do you do business with China? I'm curious about the way that you approach Beijing. How do you make these overtures? Is it directly through a third party? Can you give us some insight into how that works?
No, we are open. I mean, I'm a finance minister there. The political arm is the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Probably, I don't know if they're going to have any meeting here, but from an economic point of view, I'm open to talk to any entrepreneur from China who wants to go there, invest, and create some more jobs in Paraguay.
And Carlos, of course, it's a very important week in terms of monetary policy. We are expecting a rate decision from Paraguay as well. We are expecting higher U.S. rates for longer. What are the implications for Paraguay? Because we know you had the 2024 budget bill, and that includes millions of dollars in global bonds and local bonds as well.
Yeah. Well, we are in a different cycle on the monetary policy cycle. Specifically, we're right now cutting interest rate. The first cut was last month. Probably in the future, we're going to have further cuts. So we are in the different cycle from the U.S., from Europe, because we already have inflation converging to around 3% per year. I mean, was 12% almost 1 year and a half ago. So right now we're in a different cycle. Now we are always looking at the U.S. because the reference rates for the war is what the Fed does. So for us, it's going to be probably more expensive next year to issue the bonds. But this is the market rules. So we'll see for how long we are going to issue those bonds, because maybe it's going to be better for us to issue for 5 years instead of the 30-year period term that we used to issue before, in order to do the rollover in 5 years at a lower interest rate.
Of course, a country, your neighbor, that constantly has issues with their economy, Argentina, right now in crisis. We're expecting an election over there. What's the impact of what's happening in Argentina right now to your economy?
For us, it's important that Brazil and Argentina do well. I mean, for us, it's good to have the neighborhood having a strong growth rate. But we have a difficult neighborhood for the past 200 years. So that's the way that we learn how to survive in a neighborhood that is more characterized by a volatile economy. Yes, it's going to be good for them to recover, to start growing strong again, but we're able to really perform very well despite the fact that Argentina or Brazil have some problems. If you look at the growth rate of Paraguay during the last 20 years, it's basically 4.3% per year. So Paraguay was able to really quadruple the GDP of the country during the past 20 years.
And Brazil and Argentina, of course, are your partners when it comes to the Mercosur trade deal in South America. We know that the deal with the European Union has been stalled for quite some time. What are you expecting on that front, and what would be the impact on Paraguay's economy?
Well, we had a meeting with the finance minister of Europe, I mean, all Latin American finance minister and the minister of finance from Europe in Spain last week. So there is a lot of talk. What we need to walk the talk. So I mentioned there that after 20 years, it's already time to sign the free trade agreement between Europe and Mercosur. That is not the whole Latin America, but given that everyone was talking about the need for more integration between LAC and Europe, and mentioned that this is going to be the right signal. You're going to be walking the talk if you really sign the agreement right now and not delay further.